7 dirty things women secretly want men to do, but never say out loud. Psychology tricks. Men always want to be a woman's first love. Women like to be a man's last romance. Oscar Wilde. Let's cut through the surface and speak plainly. There are desires women carry quietly, feelings they rarely say out loud, not because they don't exist, but because saying them would feel too raw, too exposed. They want a sense of control, yet at the same time, they're drawn to a man who doesn't completely hand it over. They enjoy attention, but only when it comes from a man who feels selective, not desperate. And here's the paradox. Some of the things they claim to dislike are often the very things that stir something deep inside them. Today, we're stepping into a deeper layer of attraction, the part that lives beneath polite conversation and social expectations. This isn't about crossing lines or disrespect. It's about recognizing the instinctive side of human connection, the quiet tension between what is said and what is felt. Many women present a composed, socially acceptable version of themselves, but underneath that is a more emotional, instinct-driven reality that plays a powerful role in attraction. Most men never see this. They focus only on words. They follow what they're told they should do. But attraction doesn't operate on instructions. It responds to energy, behavior, and emotional signals. The gap between what is spoken and what is truly felt is where most men lose their footing without even realizing it. So if you're willing to look beyond appearances, to understand not just what is said, but what is experienced, then you start to see the real dynamics at play. This isn't about manipulation. It's about awareness. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally understands these patterns, not by forcing them, but by embodying a deeper sense of confidence, presence, and emotional intelligence. And once you begin to see clearly, everything changes. 1. She secretly wants to feel owned emotionally, not physically. She secretly wants to feel emotionally claimed, not physically controlled, and this is where most men misunderstand the deeper layers of female psychology and miss the opportunity to build something truly powerful. Understand this clearly. She is not looking for someone to restrict her. She is looking for someone strong enough, steady enough, and certain enough that she wants to lean into him. That is the difference. Don't confuse control with connection. Don't confuse force with presence. Be the man whose energy speaks before his words ever need to. That is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks when it comes to attraction. A woman doesn't fall for pressure. She falls for emotional gravity. She wants to feel that your attention is intentional, your direction is clear, and your presence is unshakable. That is what creates the feeling of being claimed in a healthy, emotional sense. It is not about ownership in the physical world. It is about emotional certainty in a world where everything feels uncertain. You must understand, in modern life, where independence is celebrated and distractions are endless, what stands out is not more freedom, but deeper connection. That is why understanding female psychology is essential if you truly want to know how to fall in love and inspire that same depth in return. Be consistent. That is where it starts. Not occasionally present. Not strong only when it is easy. Consistent. Show up when it matters. Show up when it is inconvenient. Show up when emotions are high and clarity is low. That is what builds trust over time. And trust is the foundation of emotional surrender. Without it, nothing lasts. With it, everything deepens. When she feels that your presence is reliable, that your words match your actions, and that your energy does not fluctuate based on mood or circumstance, she begins to relax. And when she relaxes, she opens. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. This is one of the real psychology tricks that most men ignore because they are chasing quick results instead of lasting connection. But here is the truth. Attraction grows where safety and intensity coexist. Too much comfort, and she feels bored. Too much unpredictability, and she feels unstable. You must be both grounded and compelling. That is the balance. Don't try to impress her with words. Show her through behavior. Be the man who listens without rushing. Be the man who notices the small things she doesn't say out loud. Be the man who understands that behind her confidence, there are fears she rarely shares. When you recognize those layers without judging them, When you accept both her strength and her vulnerability, you create something rare. You create emotional safety. And emotional safety is not weakness. It is power. It is what allows her to be fully herself without hesitation. That is when she starts to feel deeply connected. That is when attraction shifts into something stronger, something more rooted. This is where many men fail because they focus only on surface level interaction and ignore the depth that female psychology is quietly asking for. You must lead emotionally, not by controlling her feelings, but by mastering your own. If you lose control easily, she cannot trust your direction. If you become reactive, she cannot feel secure in your presence. Calm is strength. Clarity is strength. Direction is strength. When she sees that you are grounded, even when situations are uncertain, she begins to rely on that stability. That is how emotional attraction deepens. That is how she starts to feel connected in a way that goes beyond logic. It becomes instinctive. And once it reaches that level, it is no longer something she analyzes. It is something she feels. That is the level where relationships become powerful. Understand this clearly. When a woman feels emotionally connected to a man she respects, her loyalty becomes natural. It is not forced. It is not negotiated. It happens because she feels secure in the bond. She feels chosen. She feels understood. And most importantly, she feels that her heart is safe. That is what allows her to give more of herself. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. This is one of the deepest truths in female psychology that many overlook while chasing superficial tactics. If you want to understand how to fall in love in a way that lasts, you must go beyond attraction and build emotional depth. That is the difference between temporary interest and lasting connection. Don't rush the process. Depth takes time. Trust takes time. Emotional connection builds layer by layer. If you try to skip steps, you weaken the foundation. Be patient, but be intentional. Every interaction matters. Every moment of consistency adds to the overall feeling she has about you. And feelings are what drive decisions. Not logic. Not lists. Feelings. When she feels that being with you brings clarity instead of confusion, strength instead of doubt, and peace instead of tension, she naturally leans closer. That is how emotional bonds form. That is how attraction evolves into something meaningful. Be aware of your energy. Not just what you say, but how you show up. Your tone, your presence, your reactions. These are the silent signals she reads constantly, and they matter more than you think. If your energy is scattered, she feels it. If your intentions are unclear, she senses it. But when your energy is focused, calm, and certain, it creates a powerful effect. She feels grounded around you. And that feeling becomes addictive in the best way. This is not about tricks in a manipulative sense, but about understanding the natural patterns of human connection. Real psychology tricks are rooted in awareness, not deception. At the deepest level, she wants to feel that she belongs with you. Not because she has no other options, but because she chooses you. And she makes that choice when she feels emotionally connected, understood, and safe. That is what creates devotion. Not pressure, not persuasion. Devotion grows where trust and emotional depth exist together. If you can provide that consistently, without losing yourself, without becoming needy or uncertain, you create a bond that is difficult to replace. That is the level most men never reach because they focus on surface attraction instead of emotional substance. So remember this. Don't try to control her. Don't try to force connection. Be the man who creates the environment where connection happens naturally. Be steady. Be clear. Be intentional. Understand the deeper layers of female psychology. Apply real psychology tricks that build trust instead of shortcuts that create confusion. Learn how to fall in love in a way that strengthens both you and her, not weakens either. And most importantly, build a connection where she feels free to give her heart because she knows it is in the right hands. That is where everything changes. 2. She wants you to tell her no. She wants you to tell her no. Let that sink in. Not with anger, not with attitude, but with calm certainty, with grounded presence, with the quiet authority of a man who knows himself. Most men get this completely wrong. They believe saying yes is love. They believe agreeing is attractive. They believe compliance builds connection. It doesn't. It slowly erodes respect. And without respect, attraction fades. That is not opinion. That is pattern. That is what old Stoic wisdom has been teaching for centuries. A man who cannot govern himself will always be governed by others. You must understand this deeply. When you say yes to everything, you are not being kind, you are negotiating your self-worth. When you avoid conflict at all costs, you are not being peaceful, you are being afraid of losing approval. And a man who fears losing approval has already lost his power. Look at your own life. How many times have you agreed when you didn't want to? How many times did you cancel your plans, silence your needs, swallow your truth just to keep the peace? That is not strength. That is quiet self-abandonment. And women feel it. Instantly. Subconsciously. They may not say it out loud, but they sense it. Because attraction is not built on words, it is built on emotional signals. And when your actions say, I need you to like me, you communicate dependence. But when your actions say, I respect myself enough to say no, you communicate strength. This is where Stoicism win becomes real, not just philosophy, but action, discipline, daily behavior. The ancient Stoics were clear about this. As Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Read that again. A man who cannot say no is not free. He is reacting, not choosing. He is bending, not standing. And here is the truth most men don't want to hear. Women are not drawn to men they can easily control. They are drawn to men who are steady, grounded, and firm. Not harsh, not cold, but clear. A man with an iron mind does not need to raise his voice. His boundaries speak for him. His presence carries weight. His no is not loud, but it is final. Now understand this. When you say no, you are not rejecting her. You are revealing yourself. You're saying, this is who I am. These are my standards. This is what I accept and what I don't. And that clarity creates tension. Healthy tension. The kind that builds attraction. Because certainty is rare. And rare things are valued. Most men are predictable. They say yes. They comply. They chase. But the man who says no when it matters becomes unpredictable in the right way. He cannot be easily read. He cannot be easily moved. And that creates curiosity. That creates respect. That creates desire. But here is where most men fail. They think saying no means being difficult, being distant, being rigid. That is not it. That is insecurity disguised as control. True power is calm. True strength is quiet. You must say no without anger. No without needing to prove a point. No without emotional reaction. Just simple, grounded refusal. No, that doesn't work for me. That is enough. You don't explain too much. You don't justify. You don't negotiate your values. You stand. And in that moment, you show something most people never develop: self-respect. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is exactly that. You cannot control her reactions. She may test you. She may push. She may challenge your boundary. Not because she wants to fight, but because she wants to feel where you stand. She wants to see if your words have weight, if your no can hold under pressure. And when it does, when you stay calm, when you don't fold, something shifts. Respect rises. Not because you forced it, but because you earned it. Understand this clearly. Every time you abandon your boundary, you teach her that your words don't matter. Every time you stand firm, you teach her that they do. And over time, that creates a dynamic where she doesn't just like you, she respects you. And respect is the foundation. Without it, nothing lasts. Not attraction, not connection, not love. That is why Stoicism win is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. Because the man who controls himself does not need to control anything else. Now look deeper. Why do men struggle to say no? Fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of conflict. Fear of not being enough. But here is the paradox. The more you fear losing her, the more likely you are to lose her. Because fear leads to compromise. Compromise leads to resentment. And resentment destroys connection. But when you release that fear, when you accept that you may lose her by standing your ground, you actually become more attractive. Because now you are not acting from fear, you're acting from truth. That is the power of an iron mind. That is emotional independence in its purest form. And here is the final truth you must carry with you. The man who can walk away is the man who rarely needs to, because his presence already communicates that he will not tolerate what goes against his values. He does not threaten. He does not chase. He simply lives in alignment. And that alignment creates a magnetic effect. People adjust around him, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. That is the quiet power most men never develop. But you can. So start small. Practice saying no in everyday life. Not aggressively. Not defensively. Calmly. Clearly. No, I can't do that. No, that doesn't work for me. No, I'm not available. Feel the discomfort. Let it build your strength. Because every time you say no with integrity, you reinforce your identity. You remind yourself that your needs matter. Your time matters. Your standards matter. And over time, that builds something unshakable. Confidence. Not loud confidence. Not fake confidence. Real confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation. This is how you become a man she respects. Not by pleasing her. Not by chasing her. But by respecting yourself first. By standing firm when it matters. By choosing truth over approval. That is the path. That is the discipline. That is the difference between being liked and being respected. And in the long run, respect always wins. If this hit you, don't just sit on it, use it. Like the video, subscribe for more hard truths, and share it with a man who needs to hear this. Then lock this into your mindset by commenting below, I don't chase approval. I stand by my standards. 3. She wants you to ignore her just a little. She wants you to ignore her just a little. That sounds counterintuitive at first. It even sounds risky. But understand this. Attraction does not grow in constant comfort. It grows in contrast. It grows in space. It grows in the subtle tension between presence and absence. If you are always there, always texting first, always available within seconds, you remove the very thing that fuels curiosity. You remove mystery. And without mystery, there is nothing for her mind to chase, nothing for her emotions to explore. Don't misunderstand this. Don't turn it into a strategy of silence or calculated distance. That is not the point. Be clear, this is not about playing games. This is about living a life so full, so engaging, so meaningful that you naturally cannot be everywhere at once. That is the essence of a high-value man. He is not ignoring her to manipulate her. He is simply busy building, growing, moving forward. He has direction. He has purpose. And that purpose demands his time. Think about it from her perspective. When you flood her with attention, when every notification she gets is from you, when every conversation is initiated by you, it feels good at first. It feels safe. But soon, it becomes predictable. And predictability kills excitement. Her mind settles. Her emotions stabilize. There is no spark, no question, no wonder. She knows exactly where you are, exactly what you are doing, exactly how you feel at all times. And when everything is known, nothing feels special anymore. But now shift that dynamic. You don't text first every time. You don't respond instantly every time. You have moments where you are unavailable, not because you are pretending, but because your life demands your attention elsewhere. Suddenly, something changes. Her mind wakes up. She starts asking questions. What is he doing? Why hasn't he reached out? Who is he with? That curiosity is not discomfort. It is engagement. It is investment. That is how you attract women without chasing them. You create a rhythm. You create space. You allow her thoughts to fill in the gaps. And those thoughts, those unanswered questions, build emotional tension. And tension is powerful. It pulls her in. It keeps her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. Be careful here. Don't disappear completely. Don't become inconsistent or unreliable. That is not attractive. That creates confusion, not desire. You must be steady. You must be grounded. When you show up fully. When you speak, you are present. but you are not always there. That balance is everything. You must understand, attention is currency. Every time you give it away freely, without limit, without intention, you reduce its value. But when your attention is selective, when it is earned, when it is clearly directed toward meaningful things, it becomes powerful. It becomes something she values, something she wants more of. A man with masculine energy does not revolve around a woman. He invites her into his world. He builds a life that is already full, already rich, already meaningful. And when she sees that, when she feels that, she doesn't feel ignored. She feels intrigued. She feels drawn in. She wants to be part of that energy. Don't chase validation. Don't chase constant connection. Be disciplined. Be intentional. Let your actions communicate your value. When you are busy pursuing your goals, building your future, strengthening your body, expanding your mind, you naturally create distance. And that distance is not loss. It is attraction. Here is the deeper truth. People value what they cannot fully control. When you are always available, always predictable, she feels like she has you completely figured out. There is no challenge. There is no discovery. But when you maintain your independence, when your time is not easily accessible, she begins to invest. She begins to lean in. Not because you told her to, but because her emotions guide her there. This is where most men fail. They think more effort equals more attraction. They think more messages, more attention, more presence will win her over. But attraction is not built on excess. It is built on balance. Too much and it overwhelms. Too little and it disconnects. But just enough absence to create curiosity, just enough presence to build connection, that is where the magic happens. You must become a man who is not waiting for her reply, not waiting for her approval, not waiting for her attention. You are moving forward regardless. You are living your life regardless. And when she steps into that life, she feels it. She feels the momentum. She feels the direction. And that is what makes you stand out. A high-value man does not need to announce his worth. He lives it. He embodies it. His schedule reflects it. His priorities reflect it. His presence reflects it. And when he is not there, his absence is felt. Not as loss, but as intrigue. So don't try to ignore her in a forced way. That is artificial. Instead, build a life that naturally pulls your focus in different directions. Have goals that demand your energy. Have passions that excite you. Have friendships that matter. When your life is full, your attention becomes limited. And that limitation creates value. Be calm. Be centered. Be focused. That is masculine energy at its core. It is not loud. It is not desperate. It is steady. It is intentional. And it does not chase. It attracts. In the end, this is not about her. It is about you. It is about the life you are building, the man you are becoming. When you get that right, everything else follows. She doesn't feel ignored. She feels drawn in. She feels curious. She feels something she cannot fully explain. And that feeling is what keeps her coming back. So remember this. Don't overgive. Don't overexplain. Don't overchase. Be present when you are there. Be absent when life calls you elsewhere. And let that balance do the work for you. 4. She wants you to have a dark side just enough to feel dangerous. She wants you to have a dark side just enough to feel dangerous, not reckless, not uncontrolled, but present, contained, and intentional. This is where most men misunderstand female psychology and miss the mark completely. Because they think being endlessly agreeable is the path to attraction, when in reality, attraction lives in contrast, in tension, in the quiet awareness that you are more than what you show on the surface. Understand this clearly. Don't be flat, don't be predictable. Don't present yourself as harmless to the point of invisibility, because while kindness matters, softness without depth does not create desire. It creates comfort without spark. And comfort alone does not sustain how to fall in love in a lasting, meaningful way. What she is drawn to is not chaos, not instability, but controlled intensity. The sense that you are capable of strength, capable of standing your ground, capable of stepping into pressure without hesitation, and yet you choose calm, you choose restraint. You choose her safety. This is one of the most powerful psychology tricks rooted deep in female psychology because it speaks directly to something ancient inside her, something that evaluates not just how you treat her, but who you are when tested by the world. You must understand, women don't just listen to your words. They read your edges, your reactions, your silences, your ability to stay grounded when tension rises. And this is where your dark side is revealed, not in anger, not in force, but in your refusal to be disrespected, in your ability to say no without apology, in your calm when others lose control. That is what signals depth. That is what signals presence. That is what makes her feel both safe and intrigued at the same time. Don't misunderstand this, because many men take the wrong path here. They think being unpredictable means being inconsistent. They think being intense means being emotionally volatile. They think having an edge means creating discomfort for her. And that is a mistake. Be steady, be grounded, be intentional. That is the foundation. Your edge should never threaten her. It should protect her. It should exist in how you move through the world, not how you treat her. This is why the idea of contrast is so powerful in how to fall in love, because she doesn't just want a man who is kind. She wants a man who chooses kindness, and there is a difference. Anyone can be gentle when they have no other option, but a man who has the capacity for strength, for intensity, for firmness, and still chooses to be gentle with her, that creates trust, that creates fascination, that creates emotional pull. In female psychology, this balance communicates something deeper than words ever could. It says, "You are safe with me, but I am not fragile." It says, "I can handle life, I can handle pressure, and I will handle you with care." This is why so many women are drawn to men who have a story, men who have faced something, men who carry a certain quiet intensity, because it shows depth, it shows layers, it shows that you are not one-dimensional. And here is the truth you must accept if you want to master these psychology tricks. Depth is attractive. Simplicity is easy to understand, but hard to desire. And she is not looking for easy. She is looking for something that makes her feel. Something that keeps her thinking. Something that creates emotional movement inside her. So don't present yourself as a finished, predictable script. Be a man she continues to discover. A man who reveals himself slowly. A man whose calm carries weight, whose words are measured, whose actions are deliberate. That is what creates the feeling of mystery without confusion, intrigue without instability. Now listen carefully, because this is where control becomes everything. It is not your intensity that draws her in. It is your control over it, your discipline, your awareness. Any man can react. Any man can raise his voice. Any man can lose composure, but a man who can feel anger and choose silence, who can feel pressure and remain steady, who can face disrespect and respond with clarity instead of emotion, that is rare. And rarity is attractive. This is the deeper layer of female psychology that most men overlook, because they focus on what to say, what to do, what lines to use, instead of who they are being in the moment. Attraction is not built on performance, it is built on presence. And presence comes from knowing yourself, from having boundaries, from having standards, from having a life that does not revolve around her approval. This is how to fall in love in a way that is real, not forced, because she is not falling for an act. She is responding to something authentic, something grounded, something that does not shift based on her reactions. And when she senses that, when she feels that you are not trying to impress her, not trying to win her, but simply showing up as a man who knows his value and lives by it, that is when attraction deepens naturally. So be clear on this. Don't hide your strength. Don't dilute your edge. Don't reduce yourself to fit into what you think she wants. Instead, refine it, control it, direct it. Let her see that you can be calm, but not passive, kind, but not naive, warm, but not overly available. That balance is where desire lives. That balance is where fascination grows. And the more you understand these psychology tricks, the more you realize that attraction is not about becoming someone else. It is about revealing more of who you already are in a controlled, intentional, and grounded way. Show her you have layers. Show her you have depth. Show her that there is more beneath the surface. Because in female psychology, it is not perfection that attracts. It is complexity handled with control. And when you embody that, you don't chase attention, you create it. You don't seek validation, you become the standard. And that is the quiet power that makes her not just interested, but deeply drawn to you. If this hit you, don't just watch, act. Step into that edge, own your strength, and master your control. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp insight, and drop this in the comments right now. Power is having darkness and choosing discipline. 5. She wants you to chase you. She wants to chase you, even if she will never say it out loud. And if you miss this truth, you will keep giving too much, too fast, and wondering why the spark fades. Understand this clearly. People value what they invest in. As Dale Carnegie once said, people rarely succeed unless they have fun in what they are doing, and that fun in attraction often comes from the emotional tension of pursuit, the subtle dance of not having everything handed over at once. So don't rush, don't flood her with attention, don't make yourself too easy to access, because when you do, you remove the very thing that fuels desire, the sense of earning you. This is not about manipulation. It is about understanding human nature at its core, something echoed in old Stoic wisdom, where restraint, patience, and self-mastery define a man's power, not constant availability. You must become a man with an iron mind, a man whose life is so full, so structured, so purpose-driven, that your time is naturally limited, not artificially withheld. Because here is the truth most men ignore. When you are always there, always replying instantly, always ready to drop everything, you silently communicate that you have nothing more important than her, and that kills intrigue, it kills curiosity. It kills the emotional investment she needs to feel something real. Instead, be present, but not predictable. Be warm, but not excessive. Be engaged, but never dependent. Because the moment she feels she has to earn your attention, everything changes. She leans in, she thinks about you more, she replays your conversations, she wonders where you are and what you're doing, and that wondering is where attraction grows. As Marcus Aurelius taught through Stoicism win principles, you have power over your mind, not outside events, and that includes the discipline to not react impulsively, to not chase validation, to not overgive in moments of emotion. You must hold your frame, protect your time, and move with intention, because the modern world has conditioned men to believe that more effort equals more attraction, when in reality, more value comes from controlled effort, from selective attention, from a life that demands your focus beyond any one person. Think about it. When something is rare, when it requires effort, when it is not guaranteed, your brain lights up, it becomes engaged, it becomes invested. This is not just theory, it is basic psychology, the same principle that drives ambition, success, and even financial growth. And if you apply old Stoic wisdom here, you realize that discipline creates value, not excess. So don't text her all day. Don't always be the first to reach out. Don't always be available. Instead, build a rhythm, a pace, a structure that reflects a man who has direction, because a man with direction naturally creates attraction without forcing it. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men fail. They try to act busy instead of actually being busy. They delay responses as a tactic. They pretend to have a life instead of building one, and women can feel that instantly, because authenticity always reveals itself. So this is not about strategy. This is about identity. You must become the kind of man whose time is genuinely valuable, whose schedule is filled with purpose, whose focus is divided between growth, ambition, and meaningful pursuits, because when your scarcity is real, it becomes magnetic. As Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it, and wasting time chasing someone who has not yet invested in you is exactly the kind of loss Stoicism warns against. Instead, invest in yourself, in your mission, in your growth, and let her feel that she must step into your world, not the other way around. This is how you create emotional investment. This is how you create long-term desire, because when she chases, she commits. When she invests, she values, and when she values, she stays. Understand the paradox. The less you try to secure her attention, the more she seeks yours. The less you overextend, the more she leans in. The less you chase, the more she becomes curious about you. But remember, never confuse this with being distant or cold, because that is weakness disguised as control. True strength is balance. True power is presence without dependence. True attraction is built when you show interest, but never lose yourself in the process. You must be grounded, steady, and focused, like an iron mind shaped by Stoicism win principles, where your emotions do not dictate your actions, where your value is not determined by her responses, and where your life remains your priority. In today's world, where attention is cheap and validation is everywhere, the man who stands out is the one who does not give himself away easily, the one who understands timing, the one who respects his own energy, because that is rare, and rarity creates desire. So here is your instruction. Build a life that excites you. Structure your time with purpose. Respond when it makes sense, not when emotion demands it. Let her come to you sometimes. Let her wonder. Let her invest and watch how everything changes. Because attraction is not built through chasing, it is built through presence, mystery, and value. And when you master this, when you truly internalize this old Stoic wisdom, you stop seeking approval and start attracting it naturally. You stop forcing connections and start creating them effortlessly. And that is when you win, not just in attraction, but in life with an iron mind, with clarity, with control, and with a quiet confidence that cannot be ignored. 6. She wants you to tease her playfully, not cry. She wants you to tease her playfully, not cry. That is where most men get it wrong. They either become too agreeable, too soft, too careful, or they swing the other way and become distant, cold, unreadable. Don't live at either extreme. Be the man who understands the middle. Be the man who knows how to spark emotion without losing control. Because here's the truth. Women don't just want comfort. They want stimulation. They want to feel something. And playful teasing, done right, creates that feeling instantly. Think about it. When you tease her with a calm smile and steady eye contact, you are not just joking. You are communicating confidence. You are saying, without words, I'm comfortable in this moment. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm simply enjoying you. That is attractive. That is what a high-value man does naturally. He doesn't beg for approval. He doesn't over-explain. He plays. And that playful energy, that light tension, begins to pull her in without force. Now understand this clearly. Teasing is not about putting her down. Don't confuse it with sarcasm or negativity. Real teasing is subtle. It's intelligent. It's warm. It carries a hint of challenge, not rejection. When you say something like, "Let me guess, you changed your outfit 3 times and still weren't satisfied," you are not criticizing her. You are painting a playful picture. You are showing awareness. You are inviting her into a moment where she can laugh at herself without feeling judged. That is social intelligence. That is masculine energy expressed through words. Why does this work so deeply? Because teasing creates emotional spikes. Most conversations are flat, predictable, safe, forgettable. But when you introduce light teasing, you break the pattern. You create surprise. And surprise triggers emotion. Emotion creates memory. That is why she will think about what you said later. That is why she will replay the conversation in her head. Not because your words were perfect, but because your energy made her feel alive. Don't underestimate this. Attraction is not built on logic. It is built on feeling. And feeling comes from contrast. Warmth mixed with challenge. Comfort mixed with unpredictability. That is why a high-value man doesn't just agree with everything. He adds flavor. He adds tension. He makes the moment dynamic. And in doing so, he begins to attract women naturally, without chasing. Look deeper. When you tease her, you are also demonstrating something powerful, emotional stability. You are showing that you are not easily shaken. You are not intimidated by her beauty, her attitude, or her presence. That matters. Because many men, especially as they get older, start to overcompensate. They try too hard to be liked. They become overly polite, overly cautious, overly safe. And in doing so, they remove all excitement from the interaction. Don't do that. Be respectful, yes, but don't lose your edge. Don't lose your personality. A man who can tease lightly is a man who trusts himself. And that trust is what creates attraction. Because if you trust yourself, she starts to trust your presence. Let's break it down even further. Teasing communicates three key things at once. First, it shows comfort. You are relaxed enough to joke. You are not walking on eggshells. That signals confidence. Second, it creates tension. Not negative tension, but playful tension. The kind that makes her smile, roll her eyes, maybe even push back. That back and forth is chemistry in motion. Third, it shows awareness. You are paying attention. You notice details. You understand her behavior just enough to play with it. That is attractive because it makes her feel seen. And here's something important. Women are naturally drawn to men who can handle verbal sparring. Why? Because it reflects mental strength. It shows you are quick. You are present. You are not easily thrown off balance. That kind of man feels solid, grounded. And in a world where everything feels uncertain, that stability becomes magnetic. But listen carefully. There is a line, a very clear line. Teasing must come from warmth, not from ego, not from insecurity. If your teasing has even a hint of bitterness, it will fail. If it feels like you are trying to prove something, she will feel it instantly. Women are incredibly sensitive to emotional tone. They don't just hear your words, they feel your intention. So don't cross that line. Don't turn teasing into criticism. Don't make jokes about things that truly matter to her. Don't attack her identity, her values, or her insecurities. That is not attractive. That is careless. And careless men lose respect quickly. Instead, keep it light. Keep it playful. Keep it rooted in connection. Think of teasing as a dance, not a fight. You step forward, she responds. You step back. There is rhythm. There is awareness. There is mutual enjoyment. That is how chemistry builds naturally. Now compare two simple responses again. She says she's running late. Response A, that's okay, no worries, take your time. Safe, predictable, forgettable. Response B, let me guess. You changed outfits 3 times and still couldn't decide. That one creates a spark. It adds personality. It shows you are not just another man giving polite responses. You are present. You are engaged. You are playing the game with confidence. And here's the deeper layer. Teasing also removes pressure. When everything is serious, people become tense. They start overthinking. But when you introduce light humor, you relax the space. You make it easier for her to be herself. Ironically, by not trying too hard to impress her, you actually impress her more. That is the paradox most men miss. A high-value man understands this. He doesn't chase reactions. He creates experiences. He doesn't flood her with compliments. He gives her moments. Moments she can feel. Moments she can remember. And teasing is one of the simplest ways to create those moments consistently. But remember this. Authenticity is everything. You cannot fake this energy. You cannot memorize lines and expect magic. If your teasing is forced, it will feel awkward. If your tone is off, it will fall flat. So don't try to become someone else. Instead, develop your natural sense of humor. Observe more. Listen more. Respond in the moment. That is where real connection lives. And don't be afraid of her reaction. Sometimes she might act slightly offended. Sometimes she might push back. That's part of the dynamic. Don't panic. Don't apologize immediately. Stay calm. Smile. Hold your frame. Because often, that mock offense is part of the game. It's her way of engaging with you. And if you stay steady, she will lean in even more. That is masculine energy at work. Calm, grounded, unshaken. You are not trying to win every exchange. You are simply enjoying the interaction. And that enjoyment becomes contagious. It pulls her in without effort. Let's be real. Compliments are easy. Anyone can say, "You look nice." It requires no creativity, no awareness, no personality. And because of that, it carries little weight. But teasing reveals who you are. It shows your mindset, your confidence, your ability to navigate social situations with ease. That is why it builds attraction faster. Because it is not just about her, it is about you. And women are not just attracted to what you say. They're attracted to how you show up, how you carry yourself, how you make them feel in your presence. Teasing, when done right, enhances all of that. It adds depth. It adds flavor. It transforms a simple conversation into something memorable. So don't hold back. Don't overthink. Don't play it too safe. Be respectful, yes, but also be bold in a playful way. Be the man who can smile, lean back, and say something unexpected. Be the man who creates moments instead of chasing approval. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about energy. It is about creating a connection that feels alive. And playful teasing, rooted in warmth and confidence, is one of the most powerful ways to do exactly that. Be that man. Develop that edge. Balance your kindness with a spark of challenge. That is how you attract women naturally. That is how you stand out without trying too hard. And that is how you turn simple conversations into lasting impressions. And if you understand this, don't stay silent, own it. Drop a comment right now. I create attraction through confidence, not approval. Because a man who knows how to play, tease, and stay grounded is a man who stands out. Like the video, subscribe for more sharp, real-world insight, and remember, nice gets ignored. Cold gets replaced. But playful confidence? That gets remembered. 7. She secretly wants you to take control confidently, not forcefully. She secretly wants you to take control confidently, not forcefully. And this is where most men misunderstand both female psychology and the subtle psychology tricks that shape attraction. They think leadership means pressure, intensity, or pushing harder. But that's not it at all, because what truly draws her in is calm certainty, the kind that doesn't ask for permission, yet never feels overwhelming. The kind that says, without words, I've got this. And that is what allows her to relax, to soften, to feel safe enough to let go of the constant mental weight she carries every single day. Because understand this clearly, she lives in a world of endless decisions, from the smallest details to the biggest pressures, always calculating, always adjusting, always managing. And when she's with a man, deep down, she doesn't want another question thrown at her. She doesn't want another, what do you think? Or where should we go? Because that doesn't feel like partnership to her in that moment. It feels like more responsibility, more noise, more effort. So don't add to that burden, remove it. Be the man who simplifies her world instead of complicating it. Be the man who makes a decision and stands by it, not arrogantly, but calmly, because that is what signals strength. That is what activates attraction on a deeper level. And this is one of those psychology tricks most men overlook. They think being agreeable makes them likable. But too much hesitation makes you forgettable. Too much seeking approval drains the energy out of the interaction. And that's why the nice guy pattern fails, not because kindness is wrong, but because uncertainty is exhausting. Because when you constantly defer to her, when every step requires her validation, she doesn't feel led, she feels responsible for you. And responsibility kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. So don't fall into that trap. Instead, step into clarity. Say, I know a place, and mean it. Take her hand and guide her through a busy street without overthinking it. Make the call when things are uncertain. Because those small moments stack up, they build a feeling. And attraction is built on feelings, not logic, not fairness, not even equality in the moment. Because while she may value equality in life, and she does, emotionally, she responds to direction, to presence, to a man who is grounded enough to lead without needing applause. And that's where how to fall in love truly begins to unfold. Not through grand gestures, not through constant reassurance, but through consistent, quiet strength that makes her feel like she can trust you with the moment, with the experience, even with her emotions. And here's the deeper layer most men never reach. When you lead with calm confidence, you're not controlling her. You're creating a space where she doesn't feel the need to control everything. And that's powerful because control is often a defense, a response to uncertainty. And when she feels your certainty, her guard naturally lowers, her energy shifts. She becomes more open, more expressive, more connected, not because you demanded it, but because you made it safe for her to be that way. And that is the real essence of attraction. It's not about intensity. It's about emotional relief. It's about giving her something she can't easily find, a moment where she doesn't have to think so much, where she can just feel, just exist, just enjoy. And that's why you must understand this distinction clearly. Don't confuse leadership with force. Don't confuse direction with pressure. Don't confuse confidence with loudness. Because real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to dominate the room. It simply exists and moves forward. And she feels that. She responds to that because it's rare, and rarity creates value, and value creates attraction. And this is exactly where female psychology reveals its truth. She is not looking for perfection. She is not looking for a man who never doubts. She is looking for a man who can move despite doubt, who can decide despite uncertainty, who can lead without needing constant reassurance. Because that signals emotional stability, and emotional stability is deeply attractive, especially in a world that feels chaotic and unpredictable. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't overanalyze every move. Don't ask 10 questions when one decision would do. Be decisive. Be grounded. Be present. And watch how the dynamic shifts, because suddenly she leans in more. She engages more. She trusts more. And trust is the foundation of attraction, not tricks, not lines, not surface level tactics. Even though we call them psychology tricks, what they really are is an understanding of human nature, an understanding of emotional needs that people rarely say out loud. And that's why she may never directly tell you she wants you to take the lead, because on the surface, it may sound contradictory to her values. But emotionally, it aligns perfectly with her desire to feel safe, to feel guided, to feel supported without having to carry everything herself. So don't wait for her to explain it. Understand it. Observe it. Apply it. Because when you do, something shifts inside her, something instinctive, something she doesn't even fully articulate. And that's when attraction stops being something you chase and starts becoming something she feels naturally, effortlessly, almost automatically. And that is the moment where how to fall in love stops being a question and starts becoming an experience. Because love, real love, doesn't grow in confusion. It grows in clarity, in direction, in a sense of emotional safety that allows both people to show up fully. And you, as the man, set the tone for that more than you realize, not through control, not through force, but through presence, through certainty, through the simple but powerful act of leading when it matters and stepping back when it doesn't. Because balance is key always. But leadership is the spark, the starting point, the thing that quietly tells her, you can trust me. And once she feels that, truly feels that, everything else becomes easier, smoother, deeper, and more real. Hey, my friend, I'm glad you stayed all the way to the end. Listen closely. Don't overcomplicate this. What you've just learned isn't about tricks, and it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding people, understanding attraction, and most importantly, understanding yourself. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase validation. He sets boundaries. He stays calm. He leads his life with purpose. And that's exactly the kind of energy that naturally draws people in. So here's my honest advice to you. Stop trying to please everyone. Start standing firm in who you are. Say no when it matters. Stay independent. Build your life first. Because when you respect yourself at that level, everything else, respect, attraction, connection, starts to fall into place without force. If this message hit you, don't just move on. Take one principle from this video and actually apply it today. That's how real change happens. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay with this channel if you want more real, no-nonsense insights like this. And remember this line, write it down, or better yet, comment it below. I don't chase attention. I build value and attraction follows. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sharp, and keep becoming the man you know you're capable of becoming.